Welcome to the Injury Clinic again. So today we're just going to go over very basic stuff, but stuff probably we need reminding of time and again. And it's what we need to be doing pre, during and post either a game or training, because we still get a lot of questions about it. In our philosophy is probably quite different than a lot. So the best way to go about it is actually go through it. So talking about nailing the basics. Warm-ups. So we split this into gym, bowling or CV. And what really do you need to do before it? Because a lot of the time it's wasted. One of the things for me during my career with the teams was that, really, do we need to be doing this? There was one team I played for where the coach would have us out at 9:30 every single day, despite the state of the game, despite what's happened the day before. And it was crazy. We were wasting so much time. So, what really needs to be going into these things? So in the gym session, for me, because of the work we do, because it's not all about just bashing the body up and there's so many movements involved, the only thing really I would say to definitely do would be like a movement flow routine. If you wanted to do that before a gym session, absolutely no trouble, okay? Then even if you wanted to jump on a cross trainer or elliptical and do 5 minutes of that, if you feel you need to get your body moving, go for it. Or a little bit of skipping. Absolutely no issue with that. What we don't do, and this counts for everything, is go in and start stretching. That's certainly not what we don't do, okay? So that's gym and movement flow. Bowling, now hopefully you should know your bowling routine inside out, back to front, be able to recite it when you're asleep. We do the movement flow. Then we move into the running drills because they cross-populate. Because the running drills are so much about co-contraction work, back foot contact work, and they obviously run across to everything. So that's really important as well. And then the activation, so we've got the skipping, the medi balls and everything like that we do pre-bowl, but that we also do if we're on the break between lunch and second session, where you've batted and you're going out bowling. If we've done that, say half an hour before, and then the toss has gone up and you're not bowling, then we just need to go into the activation, so the slams, the skipping, oblique activation, those sorts of things before we go out again for your bowl. For CV, I would say if you're doing a cross trainer session, you don't really need to do anything. Okay, go get your cross trainer session done. Obviously, I hope you're not doing a bike because we're not big fans of the bike. But if you are on a bike for any reason, you don't need to do much before that. If you are doing an impact, so if you're doing some running, then it is a good idea just to get a little bit of co-contraction work, so maybe some light skipping. Again, you could always do a movement flow, absolutely no issues. But it's all about, for me, not wasting time and always getting the bang for your buck, okay? So then if we move on to during a game, now this is always interesting of what you do during a game to make sure you're ready to come back on for your second and third spell. So the things I talk about here, co-contraction work, pulsing on that back foot, just little skips, those sorts of things, hops on the spot, front foot contact bunny hops, the oblique activation, very crucial. You're gonna have at least an over when the captain says you're coming back on. So you can do little back foot pulses, you can do skipping on the spot, but the oblique activation is really crucial. Get down, get that rotation going and then squeeze and then up and back and then a bit more. Get that working. Then we can have thoracic rotation. You could be up in a front foot contact and thoracic rotation on the floor, 4-point kneeling, however you need to. And then if you want a little bit of power, do some clap press ups. A couple of those, bang. If you're good at them and you can do them, just gets everything activated. I know something Steph used to use as well with some overload sort of bowl throughs with his jumper. He'd take his jumper off, have it in his hand and go through his bowling action so there'd be a bit of resistance. So there's always things we can do. Just a couple of those isn't going to cut it. Remember, we don't do those pre-game, but for some reason we do it between first and second spell. I'm not quite sure why. But also remember, hydration. If you go onto the pitch, if you've got your water bottle down at third man, so that you can go and have a drink in between spells. If you've got a protein carbs drink, you know, your body's using up a lot of energy. These two things, used to drive me absolutely crazy when I'd see bowlers not turn up with the basics or rely on someone else. You can turn up with a protein shake, you can turn up with your water, it should be all there for you. You know, so that should be sort of during the game. Obviously you get a wicket, 12-man runs on, that's great, but make sure, you know, it might be a hot day, it might be a flat pitch, you might not get a wicket for 30 overs. Have you got everything you need so that you can keep topping it up? That's the question. Vibration. Now, what can you use? Now, obviously during the game's hard, but if you're playing a 50 over game or anything and you've had a long bat, have you got a little bit of vibration where you can just get into something much bigger? Then obviously the Mediball. You know, your Mediball, you can have it at third man. Again, me and Steph got in trouble for this at Northants once where I took a Mediball round. The umpire complained, the coach had a go at me. But we were just trying to make sure he was ready to go. So you can have a Mediball with your drink, with your carbs, down at third man, protein and carbs, down at third man, and you can do a little bit. Or you could even get 12 man to bring it on if you're running drinks out or anything. A few slams, whatever it might be, will just help you really get ready for that second and third spell. After the game, this is something, you know, what you do away from what other people see is what's going to really turn the dial and make the big difference, okay? Easy to sit on the pitch and do a stretch and all that crap. There's no point, it's not helping you. You know, you should know by now if you're on this, stretching is not the one. It's not going to help you. Again, if you're knackered, then your CNS system's going to be firing. What are you stretching? You know, that's what we've got to think. What are we trying to do with this? Okay, if you go on the pitch and you're doing your soft tissue work, that's fine. Absolutely fine. But make sure what you do away is crucial. So, nutrition and hydration. Are you getting your carbs and protein and fats on in, firstly, the half an hour window after a game, and then the next sort of evening before the next day? Absolutely crucial. Hydrate, replenish, and then the next morning as well. Wake up, get a litre of water down you to start the day off, and it will set your system up to keep going, okay? Pay close attention to this. Easy to get wrong, easy to just go off and have something convenient. Think of your body again like a car. Would you want to put Stella in a car, or would you want to put some decent petrol in it? You know, we want it to be firing and working well. Hot and cold therapy, so many different elements to this. So if you've got access to a sauna, a cold plunge, things like this, absolutely gold standard. But if you just got a shower and you turn the temperature up for 2 minutes and down for 2 minutes and do that 3 times, you're getting hot and cold contrast. Very important. It helps the muscle, have the sort of blood start flowing. When the blood's flowing through the body, it's taking away the waste products and helping replenish. So hot and cold is very important. Obviously you've got some different heat therapy as well, with some different systems with the vibration, which we're going to talk about in a sec. Vibration and heat together can really help out. You know, we've got a couple of little things that we use here. You know, we've got the gumdrop where that heats up. You know, if you've got a really gnarly point, might be in the hip flexor, might be in the lat, might be in the pec, wherever it might be, and you lay on that for 5 minutes, with that heated up, we know that's going to help the fascial system loads and help you move, okay? So hot and cold therapy. Again, the next morning, you know, 2 to 5 minute cold shower or a plunge, it's going to help you loads. It's going to help you feel really good as well. And then vibration compression. You know how much we talk about vibration technology. If you've got a vibration platform, if you've got a vibration gun, really, really important, and they help you so much. But then compression as well. Compression, what the literature is telling us now, is it's far more important than ice. And don't get confused with icing and cold therapy. 2 different things. 2 completely different things. If we've got a point in the body which, you know, is really gnarly, do we need to actually get the cold on it? Or can we actually compress it? I would go for compression if you've got tight quads, tight hammies, glutes, calves, shoulder. If you've got compression garments, put them on after you've had your shower. And then I'll try and, if you've got something you can wear during bed as well, even better. Okay, there's so much out there now. In the vibration technology, again, you could be stood on your vibration platform, you could be using your gun before bed doing your soft tissue, just helps get that body into a parasympathetic state so that we sleep well, which is the biggest thing really, is sleep. And all these things are going to help you sleep. Now, one thing I would say with the nutrition hydration, I try and get it all in, but then taper it away about 2 to 3 hours before you want to sleep. Okay, so the digestive system can relax, so you're not up and down all night needing to wee. We want to get that in, but fairly quickly after the game, so then everything can calm down. Like I said, we can get into that parasympathetic state, we can sleep well, the deep sleep, and all those things can be up. If you've got something, I've got an Oura Ring, there's Whoop bands that can track your sleep, then what that will tell you is if what you're doing is actually working or not working, because that's what we need to know. If you're doing some things or maybe drinking or something, and then the next morning your sleep data is terrible, you know that's not for you, okay? So make sure we're tracking these things as well. And if we put all these things into practice, we're gonna be training well, we're gonna be recovering well, so that the next training session we can get the most out of it, instead of where most people are at, is just sort of falling from session to session, hoping to get through the game at the weekend. Let's get this in place, let's maximize so that we can lead the competition for dust, okay? Any questions, as always, drop me a message.